Hello, and welcome back to Uncle Rico's Storytime. Episode number 12. I owe everyone an apology. I have never really watched any of the podcasts. I checked the first, couple of seconds and the last couple of seconds, and I make sure it works, and I just send it out. I finally watched Zeus and Chico. I was pretty drunk. It was a secondary podcast. It was a follow-up podcast after already doing one. It was pretty bad. I think there was like 5 minutes where you can hear me cleaning up dog pee. And I realized maybe the whole getting hammered thing doesn't work for a podcast. It's entertaining as fuck for me. So I'm trying something new today. I'm not drinking. There is no rum in this smoothie. This is my energy smoothie. I take strawberries and bananas, portion them up, freeze them, bag them up the next day. A little bit of yogurt, some juice, and then a spoonful of this pre-workout, which is like, it is cocaine. It's cocaine. I was living with this dude, bodybuilder guy, who turned me on to it. He was like, I would mix them up and just slam them and then go about my day. And one morning he's there and he's like, dude, what are you doing? You're wasting all the good stuff. And he's like, yeah, the white powder on the bottom is the best stuff. And I put my finger in there and I was like, holy crap, that is cocaine. And he's like, yeah, technically it's not because the FTC, da-da-da-da-da. He was always wired. This dude, I gotta bring him in for a podcast. This dude spent like forever in jail, and he was old. And when I lived with him, he was older than me. I think he was like 50 or some shit. Early 50s. But he looked good. All he did was work out. He'd spent his whole life in prison. He said when he was younger, super young, like, got caught up in this huge cocaine deal and like da-da-da-da-da. And it's like pretty famous. Like cops busted the shipment out of the impound and stuff like that and da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, he was something else. I used to, he'd spend all day in his bedroom. And I used to make fun of him. I would do voices underneath his door. And then one time hanging out, I found out like he didn't even know who the voices were because he was spent all the whole time in prison. And this wasn't like prison now where you like, I'm sure, have cable and shit like that. This was prison back in the day. So, but I would always do Morgan Freeman impressions, and finally he was like, who's the old guy that you're always doing? I'm like, that's Morgan Freeman, man. I would get right up to the bottom of his door, and I would go, and for the 7th time today, Jeffrey retired to his bedroom and masturbated in his own tears. And just say weird, fucked up shit like that. And finally he was like, who's that old guy you're doing? I'm like, that's Morgan Freeman, man. But yeah, he was crazy. Super racist, unfortunately, because he was a good guy. But he was like, dude, once you have shit like that, let's not go down that road. But he was like, dude, once It's like the shit that happened in prison. He's like, I can't get over that, you know. And he's like, he's like, he was like, because he was throwing around the N word, and I was like, dude, I'm not happy with that. And he's like, blah blah blah. Once we started talking, he's like, I don't like. He's like, I'm not. He's like, I don't like the way that I feel, but when you get the shit that was done to me and like the words that were said to me, like, I can't. So, but whatever. We're going down a tangent. What was the whole point today? We'll have to do a grocery store lady. We'll get to, but yeah. Okay, so summation for the podcast. Uncle Rico Storytime. Just a normal dude, and I've been single my whole life, and just need a place to vent. Hopefully I can cover something that may help people. One of my next podcasts is going to be my back. I've been battling with a herniated disc for, I don't know, 20 some years, 25 years. No, how long has it been? Jesus. Doesn't matter, but a long time. And I'll be doing a podcast here shortly. I wanted to do that first. As like a good thing before I got into Trump. The bad thing, figure, try to, build subscribers and then slash them with my political views. And that's kind of what I guess I was going to talk about today. I'm more and more amazed at. I was running through the grocery store, and there's this older lady, and she's got her phone up, and she's pulled the print way up so she can read it. And I was gonna like cruise by and like read the message and like say something snarky, like okay, I'll grab the potato salad and take off. But when I ran up on her and I read the message, it said, we filed a motion that was shot down and closing arguments today. And I was walking away, I was like, Jesus Christ, that was Trump stuff. And I'm like, why? Who would ever... He is so hated that people are now kind of identifying with the government, with with like, we, like it's us, all of us are prosecuting Trump right now. And I tried to think, like, have we ever done that with like hated people, like with the Unabomber or whoever, like, when we prosecuted him, were we ever, when we talk about the stuff, were we ever like, oh yeah, we've shown plenty of evidence? I don't think so. That's weird. Unless maybe the old lady was dating like a old DA or prosecutor or something like that, and that's the way that he talks. But I don't think it is. I think people are like so hated. They so hate this dude that they're like, I don't know. Okay, next one's got to be about Trump before this thing gets out of hand. So here's the deal: is closing arguments. It's 12 people, so I'm sure he's gonna get found guilty, and he did whatever they did. I try not to watch this shit at all too much anymore. I just kind of phased it out, but I believe what is happening, and again, I'm just a nobody in Arizona that went to school for political science. Well, I went to school for broadcasting, but I started early with political science. I'll have to explain that before I get into it. But next podcast, we'll have to do a Trump breakdown, a political breakdown of everything that's happened in the last 9 to 10 years. But holy smokes, off tangent. What the hell were we talking about? And then I just went sideways. I don't know, because I'm super stoned and on energy drink. Either way, I believe what's going on is we are getting Trump the same way we got Clinton. I believe we started to investigate Clinton for like real estate or some shit like that. And then we found out about the Monica Lewinsky stuff. The blowjobs. The BJs in the White House. Getting his knob slabbed on in the White House. So we started to investigate Trump for, I believe, the January tours. And then found out about the whole Stormy Daniels thing, which we already knew about the Stormy Daniels thing. We knew it was a payoff, but we're going after him for, I don't know, taking it out of his campaign funds instead of business or whatever, which I assume is blah, blah, blah tax, you know? We're going after him for not paying taxes, I guess, you know, which we pretty much all do. Pretty much all rich people do, but besides the point, we're going after him for, basically moving funds around, I think. Because, honestly, who cares where he got his funds and lied about them? You know, he's only defrauding the government, and that's not why the government's pissed. But either way, here's the fucked up thing that I was thinking about. My friend, Meg, she posed the question. She's like, will this conviction change anything? And I'm like, no, not really. Trump supporters will still support Trump. People that are against Trump aren't going to be swayed at this point. They've gone through an avalanche of media barrage telling you this guy is Hitler, the next Hitler, you know. Nobody's going to be swayed at this point. People are entrenched. Doesn't matter. But it did get my gears turning, and this is the interesting thing, is this really won't... I think, again, it's a bad move. I mean, it's not a bad move because, the opposition is trying to do anything at all possible to, pull this guy down. But it won't matter because, one... Okay, this is the way that I see this thing playing out. The jury, 12 people, find him guilty or not guilty, and then the judge does the sentencing. So the 12 people will find him guilty of whatever they're charging him with. It goes to the judge. The judge, even in these cases, if it's victimless, very rarely do people that do these crimes go to jail. They normally pay a fine, So, say he's found guilty of all these things. I believe they're all felonies that he's charged with, but even that doesn't preclude him from running for president. He can still campaign throughout all of this. I think what's going to happen is the judge is going to do I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to, guess what sentencing is and everything like that, but I would think he's going to be found guilty of a lot of all of this shit that he did. Goes to the judge. Judge is going to go, government wants their money. A fine? $1 million? $500,000 fine? And 6 months probation or something like that? They wouldn't do even if it is jail or something, it'd be house arrest. Trump would anything harsher than that, anything harsh at all, Trump would appeal and stretch it out past the election, even if he was found guilty and had to serve 6 months in jail. He could still campaign from jail, and it would be the same thing. Now, I will say the same thing that I said for the last election. I would be surprised if he gets elected, just because both media situations have been hammering on you. You don't realize, like, even if you're a Trump supporter, you're getting hammered with Trump every day. And if you're on the fence, you've been wore down already. It happened to my mom and my stepdad. They're both conservative, and they were like, the last election, they were like, we just want to get him the fuck out of there. We're sick of hearing about him. But here's the funny thing about that situation. If he loses this time again, he will be back. Like, it's going to be 4 more years of fucking Trump bashing because they're going to be scared about him next election. Like, if he loses, he can keep fucking running, and he'll keep getting the nomination from the Republican Party because people that support him are like, fuck yeah, he knows what he's doing, or blah, blah, blah. They're not going to change 4 years from now. They're not going to suddenly go, well, we'll give this guy from Florida a shot. Maybe he has a better, They're emboldened, and they know it's Trump versus the system. So this is a problem that's not going to go away. So, if you're listening and you have liberal views, just fucking elect him this time. Let him kick ass. And then, boom, we're done with it. Because he can't run again after 2 terms. So, let him do his thing for 4 years. And then after that, we can go back to the old way of, like, family laundering money, aid to different countries, and, all the politicians just caring about money and keeping their seats. Yeah, so I think I got a Trump cast coming up soon, and we'll talk about what has happened politically. And what else do we got? It's just a notebook of nonsense that I could catch up on. Ooh, that was a bad thing, yeah. I went out after one of my hockey games, and I was outside talking to Mr. Smooth. I got this cat who's on my hockey team who's, he's always got a different lady there every week cheering him on, and he's just, he's got no problem meeting women. But I was outside talking, and this girl walked out, and she was dressed real nice and was cute. She kind of had a bigger nose, which I like. I was like, oh. But Ryan, my buddy, brought her over and teed her up and just fucking walked away. And I just fumbled the bag so hard. I just really have no game left. I have no confidence. Game is confidence. I've just been beat down so much I have nothing left. Dude's like, hey, Miss Girl, come over. Do-do-do, bloop, bloop, bloop. And he's like, peace, and walked away. And I was like, oh, hi, what's your name? She said, blah, blah, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, how you doing? I said, real good. I just bought some land. Great opening, right? She said, oh, da, 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 da. We talked. Showed her some pictures. She said, oh, I'm looking for land too. And she's like, yeah, my dad's helping me. Hopefully, I'm looking at this area. It was this area that I had just looked at. She said her dad's helping her, so signs that she's single. She starts looking in her phone to show me pictures of this property she looked at. That I had just looked at a property in that area, and the whole time I'm like, what are you seeing next? What is she? Is she interested? Da, 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 da. Like, maybe she's just being polite, blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, she said her dad, so blah, blah, blah. Fucking head is racing. And she showed me these pictures, and by the time she pulled them up in her phone, and she was standing real close to me, like, all positive signs. By the time she was done with it, I was like, okay, great. Well, it was awesome talking with you. I'll see you inside. I was like, I couldn't get away quick enough. I was like, my brain was like, fuck. I don't know. I got no hope. I got no fucking hope. Yeah. What else happened? The Bears are on Hard Knocks. Horrible idea. Horrible idea. You bring a rookie quarterback in, and they're having a hard enough time trying to win over a locker room, and now they and other people are showing off for the cameras. Horrible idea. I am not sold on Caleb Williams at all. I think mentally he is not prepared to be a pro. Athletic, off the board. I think he'll have a career. I thought he was going to have a career kind of like Cam. You know, kind of take the world by storm. Have a hard time his third or fourth year and not be able to come back from it. But because I don't think he's a fighter. I think he's an Aaron Rodgers type where, you get in a fight and he turtles. My views on A-Rod are well documented. I love him, but, he's a pretty boy. You hit him in the face and he goes and he sits on the bench. Putting a bunch of cameras in a rookie quarterback's face is, and all around your headquarters is not good. So, I see that backfiring. What else is new? Celtics and Mavs in the finals. That's kind of cool. Glad anybody but LeBron is out there. Bronny's kid is now making demands. Not only is he a severe fringe player, but he is now making demands. He's only going to 2 workouts, basically saying, I guess, 2 teams can draft me. I'd assume 1 or 2 of those teams are going to draft him in the first or second round. Does another team draft this kid just to fuck with the other 2 teams? I don't think so. So the Suns are the Lakers. I believe the Lakers have a draft pick. The Pelicans said, no thanks to this year. Everybody's it's all a bunch of fucking bums. So they are saying, Lakers, go ahead and keep your first round pick. And I'm sure the Lakers use that to pick up Bronny, right? I think. But besides that, Mavs and Celtics, which is pretty cool. Kyrie and Luka. Drew on the other side. Drew was kind of the nail in the coffin as a Bucks fan. When we sent Drew away, that was like, okay, we're fucking done. He was just so underrated, as a third option in our offense behind Giannis and Chris. He didn't need the spotlight, but he could step up, and defensively, he's a fucking shutdown. When we sent him and picked up that loudmouth asshole, nobody fucking wins with him. Oh, wait, no. We got rid of Drew and picked up Wes. Okay, yeah, no. The dude from Portland, yeah. Okay. No, what was the loudmouth ass that we picked up this year? This year, we get rid of the coach, who was second in the league, and then brought in that loudmouth motherfucker. Why can't I think of his name right now? Dummy. I don't know why teams still bring him in. All he does is run his mouth. I don't believe he's won anymore. What the fuck is that guy's name? Either way, that'll be a cool finals. Celtics Mavs. I guess I'm kind of rooting for the Mavs. I like Luka and Kyrie a bit more than Drew. I love Drew. That'd be cool if he won a ring. What else do we got going on in the notebook of nonsense? That one girl. Do I even want to talk about her? My work has just been so fucking stupid. Just nonsense ideas. We'll talk about that later. I don't want to talk about that girl either. 'Cause she sucks. Ugh. The Outsiders. Movies I watched lately. The Outsiders, which is awesome. One of my favorites. If you haven't seen The Outsiders, you need to. Socias and the Greasers. I wanted to name my first kid Soda Pop. I would go around, my mom told me that when I was a kid, I had a dog whose name was, he had brown over its eye, a white dog, stuffed animal dog, that had brown around its eye, and I called it Poop Stain. She kept trying to get me to call it Spot, and I kept calling it Poop Stain. And she said I would walk around and introduce myself and introduce Poop Stain all the time. And she finally got me to stop doing that, because I would then randomly just tell people that yeah, I don't think we need to talk about that. But yeah, I was obsessed with the name Soda Pop. Soda Pop. I wanted to name my firstborn Soda Pop. I've changed, by the way, ladies. No longer. It's open for negotiation. But that author, S.E. Hinton, the author that wrote The Outsiders and Rumblefish, which is also a really good movie and book. Both of these are outstanding books. I read them as books before I saw them as movies. And I was a big nerd when I was a kid. I used to read anything that was in sight. But this author, S.E. Hinton, is a woman. I believe she's from Texas. I think a lot of her stuff centers around down in Texas. Yeah, very, very talented. I should go through and check out her other books. If I enjoyed her first two that much, I should check out what else she wrote. And kind of unrelated, but related. I want to talk about The Imitation Game. No, because I get so fucking angry. But real quick, if you have not watched Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch, watch it. And then do research on Alan Turing. It's devastating, and it will scar your heart what society did to a brilliant man just because he was gay. Alan Turing. But that's about it. We tried it. 28 minutes. Damn, we tamed that really good. Just me venting about nonsense today. Episode 12. Hopefully this went better than some of my more drunker material. Do we do the theme song out? All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to my ramblings. If you like this ish, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and then you will know when Bipolar Bears is coming out, which is going to be the best animated show to come out since... Actually, there's a lot of really great animated stuff out there. But it's going to be awesome. Subscribe to my channel and like this and share it and do all of that now. Kind of into the whole... Not into it, but I need the promotion. Because once we start doing stuff about like veteran stuff, my back, everything like that, we need an audience. We need to help people That's what this is for. Me venting and helping people. Both at the same time. Peace out. Been watching a lot of Seinfeld. I always watch Seinfeld. Sounding a lot like Seinfeld. I will work on the theme song. Peace out.